All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about a social enterprise that's doing something really special. I mean, it's about so much more than just selling pretty things. It's really about building a bridge built completely by hand, one that connects these incredible ancient traditions to our modern world, and most importantly, empowers the very people keeping those traditions alive. And this whole thing really starts with this one simple but super powerful idea from the founder, Hatice Murphy. This quote, it's pretty much the foundation for the entire venture. You can just feel how personal and focused it is. It's the engine behind everything we're going to get into. And look, this isn't just some casual passion project. Not at all. This is the results of a whole lifetime of experience. We're talking about Hatice, who has 30 years of professional experience in business development. So she's got the know-how, but she also has this incredibly deep personal connection to the exact communities she wants to help. It's the perfect combo, really. Right, so you have to wonder, with all that experience, what was the problem she was trying to solve? What did she see happening back home? Well, it turns out it's a story we've kind of heard before. You have this incredible, centuries-old talent that's hitting a very, very modern wall. So picture this, right? All across Turkey, in these smaller towns and villages, you've got these artisans, and it's mostly women, creating the most beautiful, handcrafted things you've ever seen. And we're not just talking about crafts. We're talking about ancient techniques passed down from mother to daughter, generation after generation. It's literally living history woven into fabric or shaped into pottery. It's amazing. But here's the big question, the real problem. What happens when all of that incredible skill, all that cultural heritage, is basically trapped? Trapped in a tiny, local market where the only people who can buy your work are your neighbors and the occasional tourist who wanders by. What then? Well, the consequences, they just ripple out. For one, it means the artisans can barely make a living, especially with things like high inflation making everything tougher. But maybe the bigger tragedy is this. When there's no money to be made, why teach your kids the craft? The incentive is just gone. And just like that, centuries of living culture are in danger of just disappearing forever. Okay, but this is where the story takes a turn for the better. Because in response to this huge challenge, a solution started to take shape. And that solution? It's a bridge. A bridge designed specifically to connect these artisans with, well, the rest of the world. And that bridge has a name, Shahmaran's Legends. At its core, it's an e-commerce platform, right? But it's doing two things at once. First, it's creating a real global marketplace for these amazing handcrafted goods. And second, it's all about helping us understand each other's cultures a little better. See, it's not just about selling a product. It's really about sharing a story. I mean, look at this contrast. The goal here is a total transformation. You're going from sales being stuck with locals and tourists to having access to a global market. From a super unstable, limited income to a real shot at economic stability. And maybe best of all, from a cultural heritage that's at risk to one that's being actively preserved because it has value in the world. It's a game changer. So the vision is incredible, right? Absolutely powerful. But how do you actually build a bridge like that? What does it take? Let's take a peek at the nuts and bolts, the business side of things. All right, so here's a quick snapshot. The founder, Hatice Murphy, is running this thing out of Richmond, Virginia. But, and this is the important part, the company's heart and soul are a world away in Turkey and Central Eurasia. And that gets us to what really makes Shahmaran's Legends stand out. This isn't just another e-commerce site. It's a business with a cause, one that truly believes trade can be a tool to bring cultures closer together. And the products themselves, wow, they really do tell the story. Let's be clear, this is not the kind of stuff you find at a big box store. No way. We're talking jewelry with a real history, ceramics with designs that mean something deep in Turkish culture, embroidery from individual artists. Every single piece is like a little time capsule of history and meaning. It's really the difference between just buying an object and actually owning a piece of a legacy. And you might be surprised who the customers are for this. It's a really wide range. Sure, it's for people like you and me who just want something unique and beautiful for our homes, but it's also for a ton of professionals. Think about it. Interior designers, curators, people who stage model homes, even real estate agents. They're all looking for those authentic, one-of-a-kind pieces that tell a story and make a space feel special. Of course, a project this big and ambitious, it's not going to be easy. It doesn't just happen overnight. So let's be realistic and look at the road ahead, both the challenges they're facing and the vision that keeps them going. Look, every startup has its hurdles, right? And Shahmaran's Legends is no exception. Right now, they're facing 3 big ones. First, financing, just getting the money to get this thing off the ground. Second, market penetration. How do you actually reach all those customers we just talked about? And third, marketing support. How do you tell this incredible story in a way that really connects with people? But they're not just sitting around worrying. They've got a clear plan. To get into the market, they're basically tackling it from a few different angles online. They're going to launch on several big e-commerce sites to get visibility. They're also going to team up with influencers who actually care about authentic, handmade stuff. And I think this is the most important part, they're going to showcase the artists themselves, letting them tell their own powerful stories. And, this all brings us right back to the social mission. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. The impact they're aiming for is super clear. On one hand, it's economic development. They're literally creating a global market that just didn't exist for these folks before. And on the other, it's workforce development, giving real jobs to people who face major barriers to finding employment. So, how do you even measure success for something like this? I mean, it's not just about dollars and cents, right? The real measures of success are all about the impact. Are more artists and partners signing up? Are the creators able to make more products and even come up with new innovative designs? Every single time a new artist joins a platform, it's a sign that the bridge is getting stronger and longer. And that really leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? The next time you buy something that was made by hand, maybe just take a second to think about the story behind it. Because what this whole venture shows us is that a single purchase, it can do so much more than just decorate your house. It might just be helping to build a bridge between 2 different worlds.